some people have been pointing out something pretty interesting about Donkey Kong Bonanza that was shown in the Nintendo Treehouse event. It's something that could be hinting at the main story and a big character return as well. The story that we know so far is pretty simple. There is an island called Ingot Isle that's being run by Donkey Kong and his fellow monkey companions, where they're trying to dig for this brand new material called Banandium, which are these diamond bananas that not only are valuable but taste very good as well. Well, a group of 3 bad monkeys called the Void decide to send Ingot Isle down underneath the ground in order to take all the bananas. So Donkey Kong must go down each sublevel, digging deeper and deeper underneath the ground in order to chase them and get the Banandium gems back. This might sound pretty straightforward and simple, chasing some bad monkeys in order to get bananas back. It seems like a Donkey Kong story, like every single time, chasing a villain to get his bananas back. But I think it goes further than this group of monkeys called the Void. I think there's actually another antagonist that's going to play a pretty big role here. And that antagonist is the main one of the Donkey Kong franchise, being King K. Rool. Now, we haven't seen King K. Rool in a mainline Donkey Kong game since Donkey Kong 64. Yeah, he hasn't appeared in any of the recent 2D games like Donkey Kong Country Returns or Tropical Freeze, and he didn't show up in Jungle Beat, but he has made his appearance in both Mario and Donkey Kong spin-off games, and even including games like Super Smash Bros. But a lot of fans wanted to see the return of King K. Rool in a mainline game, and I think this is the game we actually do see his return. Now, why do I think King K. Rool is back? Well, there's a lot of reasons why, and let's jump into the first one that fans have noticed. During the second treehouse segment for this game, they start the game literally just in front of a giant Banandium gem bunch, and Donkey Kong punches it to find out the name of that specific mission that says, "First croccoid cracked." Now, what in the world is a croccoid? That definitely is referencing some type of crocodile creature. Now, immediately, I don't think it's a King K. Rool henchman, as normally they would start with the letter K, no matter what the word is. But what's interesting is I think we've actually seen some of these croccoid creatures. Later on, at the end of this treehouse segment, you'll see a giant, what looks like a statue of an alligator or some sort, and it seems to be swinging a giant piece of dirt with it as well, but it's protected in this giant metal casing that looks like a crocodile. DK blows him up with a boom rock, and inside you can see is a gold skeletal crocodile, it looks like. Now, it does make me wonder if this is a croccoid, or at least some type of subspecies of a croccoid, because it seems like maybe Donkey Kong just destroyed a bigger one, or maybe even a boss one, before reaching those bananas. It just seems weird that a giant bunch of 3 bananas is just sitting there, which, you know, normally is a reward like a Grand Moon in Super Mario Odyssey, which only came after defeating a major mission or a major boss battle. Going back to the trailer, we can see some more of these croc enemies. They're all encased once again in some crocodile-themed rocks or stone covering their body before Donkey Kong breaks them apart, revealing their gold croc skeletons underneath. There's another scene that shows a giant red spike croccoid shell that gets busted open, and another gold skeletal crocodile comes busting out of it. So this is pretty interesting. It seems like these croccoid creatures are all beneath the ground where Ingot Isle rests. But why? Well, does it have something to do with the island or the island's location? It's hard to say. For instance, when we go to Ingot Isle, it looks like the top could be a reference to like a skeletal remains of a crocodile. Maybe that's just the way I'm looking at it, but either way, it looks like there could be some type of reference to where this is on top of some type of ancient crocodile burial ground or something. Another thing is we don't know where in the Donkey Kong world that Ingot Isle takes place. Like, where is this at? Is this just some random new location on Donkey Kong Island? Is this somewhere off of DK Island? You know, where is this exactly? Now, Ty D, Ruffy's 80 guy on Twitter, actually tagged me in a post maybe confirming what this area could be. As he stated, it kind of looks similar to the Lost World from Donkey Kong Country 2. This was a bonus area at the end of the game that K. Rool actually fled to when he had lost from the main game. Now, what's interesting is it does share a lot of similarities. In Lost World, there's a lot of mountains and volcanoes, which we can clearly see here on Ingot Isle. Lost World also has one main river that pours into this giant lake in the center where Croc Island is. Ingot Isle also has one singular river that pours in from the same direction. So what if this is in fact Lost World, and Ingot Island is literally just a bunch of clumps of dirt, rocks, and clay that has accumulated over that Croc Island that was in the center of that lake? So yeah, I'm saying, what if this island right here is Ingot Island? Now when we went inside this island, it was a bonus boss fight against Captain K. Rool, and it seemed to be some type of hidden base with tons of old crocodile relics, older than K. Rool himself. You can see tons of old treasure and statues of Kremlings as well. There's giant ones holding up the roofing of the place on the sides, and there's even little ones towards the back that are holding swords and shields. And there's some sort of colorful beam of light shooting out of this staircase in the background. All the symbols on the ground and on the stairs also look very ancient as well. So it does make me wonder, what if Ingot Isle does take place on Crocodile Island and this is the Lost World? It's just been years since these events have unfolded from Donkey Kong Country 2. What if there's years of Kremling past that was buried in this location? And deep underground was an ancient civilization of Kremlings, taking our journey far into the past. Meaning, what if we're not even fighting K. Rool, but instead it's an ancient ancestor of K. Rool, maybe the golden skeletal remains of that ancestor? Thanks to this new evil monkey bunch, they're the ones that actually released them and woke them up from their imprisonment. In fact, we can see the villains actually standing alongside a bunch of these croccoids during the event of tossing Ingot Isle deep underground. So maybe they awoke in these past Kremlings that are now turned into these creatures called croccoids. At the very end of the trailer, we even see Donkey Kong fighting a giant croccoid, and in its design on the statue's front, you see tons of different faces of crocodiles, from the front of it to the sides and even at the very top. You can even see some of the skeletal remains sticking through, which shows me that this is indeed a giant golden skeletal croccoid. It does make me wonder, is there a deeper story going on with these crocodiles? I mean, there has to be. It wouldn't make sense for a game that's infamously known for having crocodile antagonists to not have a main story revolving around these crocodiles. So I'm really curious to see if this is in some way a K. Rool tie-in. Will K. Rool make an appearance at all? Maybe he even comes to help Donkey Kong for some reason, or maybe he actually comes to fight Donkey Kong at the very end. Who knows? But I'm very curious to seeing more of these croccoid creatures and finding out more about the lore of this game. Whether we fight K. Rool himself or an ancient ancestor like a grandpa of his, I'm really excited to see his return in this game if it does in fact happen. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about this theory? Do you think we'll actually be seeing King K. Rool, and do you think Ingot Isle actually takes place on Crocodile Isle and inside the Lost World from Donkey Kong Country 2? Let me know down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.